Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about hard and soft skills. Why is it important to a software engineer? Now, as a software engineer that's been in the field for over a decade, I can tell you right now that hard skills is what is going to help you get into a lot of these companies. So if you're really good at coding, problem solving, debugging, solving system problems, understanding how to architect the system, that's value. And you're going to spend a lot of time mastering those skills. And it's not like a one-day thing. You're going to be spending weeks on end working on these skills so that you could actually get paid for your services. So if you're looking to get promoted, yeah, you could have the skills, you could be a great engineer, but at the end of the day, if you're not able to communicate well, you're never going to get promoted. All right. So this is where soft skills come in. So soft skills is basically your communication. How do you break things down from a technical perspective and make it super simple to someone that doesn't know how to code or doesn't necessarily care about all the extra detail? If you're able to convey what you're thinking, take whatever's technical, compile that and make it simple for others to understand, it's a win-win game. And that's something that I had to learn just from being good at programming. I'm not saying I'm the best, but being good at it. But then also how do I explain this to people across teams so that they understand exactly what the impacts are? And I had to practice this over and over again. This is a skill that you need to acquire. If you understand the problem and you understand how to speak in a way that is easy for everybody to just understand, doesn't matter what technical background you have, it's going to help you tremendously. Just like think about when you're doing a job interview. You're doing a job interview and they ask you technical questions, right? You're communicating what the answers to those technical questions are. It's the same thing. We all have that soft skill as engineers. Like if you are doing an interview, that's exactly what it is. But to be able to practice that is a skill in itself. Me personally, I'm really good at speaking with people anyway. So I never really had that problem, but I noticed that there was a chink in the armor when it came to actually talking technically and actually explaining my solution to a problem. But this took time to understand and actually be in uncomfortable situations to where I had to figure out the best path going forward. So you guys have to do the same. When it comes to communication, understand how to break down the problem to where it's super simple and you're not getting bombarded with questions or people being confused as to what you just said or what you're talking about. You know, also documentation helps with that too, but you could get really crazy with documentation to where it's way too much information at once and you're trying to figure out where to start versus where it ends. That's a problem. So keeping everything super simple at a high level, and then if it needs to be technical, you could obviously create that technical documentation. I honestly like doing diagrams to show visually what the changes are. And that's going to help with understanding, okay, what is the back end layer? What's the front end layer? What's the workflow going to do in between that? Just kind of giving everybody a clear picture in terms of what the feature is or what the problem that we're trying to solve. Some engineers think that, okay, if I learn these skills, these hard skills to where I'm a great 10x engineer, then I'm going to get promoted. You might have companies that do that. They notice your potential right away and they push you into junior developer to senior level or even tech lead. But it comes with the practice. You could have the hard skills, but if you're not good with your communication, you're going to fall flat. It's just going to happen. So my advice to you is always work on those hard skills, but then also understand how to, communicate between different teams, communicate in general, because that's going to help you get promoted a lot faster. And it's going to give you some credibility. If you're a subject matter expert at one particular area, that means that you spent hours understanding this subject and you're comfortable with talking about it. If you are uncomfortable about talking about a situation, it's going to show immediately. So that's why, especially if you're doing a presentation, always practice what's on the slides, right? Always practice reading from the slides, recording yourself, how you're presenting, because that's going to help you deal with, different stop words and the way you're conveying that information. And you could probably rewrite those slides in your own way so that you totally understand exactly what you're talking about. There's been times where I've done presentations and it was written by someone else and I bombed it because I didn't really understand the material and it wasn't written in my way so that I had bullet points. But if you take leadership in terms of just writing everything on your own in the way that you want to convey that information, it makes it a lot easier and it takes a lot of the pressure off you. If you look at a habit tracker, right? The easier that habit is, the easier it will be for you to stick to that habit. Once it gets into the curve, the sweet spot is the middle where it got easier for a little bit and then it got harder a little bit, but I can still maintain my habits. That's where you want to be. When it's at the end of the peak, that's where you're going to fall off. As you continue to learn and get better at these skills, that peak is always going to move depending on the difficulty. In all aspects of your life, you have to work on the hard skills and the soft skills. That is what's going to help you with networking. That's what's going to help you with being an authority in the space. And it's going to help you with just being comfortable in your own skin, right? Being comfortable with your skills. When I was coming up, and I've worked multiple jobs, but the companies that I've stayed at, for example, I was working as a web developer for some time, and then I became a software engineer. I could have moved up a lot quicker as a software engineer if I practiced my soft skills and actually understood exactly how to speak technically. I do this on a regular. If it's something that I'm really passionate about, I'll talk about it. And if people have questions and they want to learn from me, I could confidently answer those questions because I've already done the work. But it takes time to master that skill, just like with anything. So the more you put yourself out there to communicate with others and actually understand exactly what's important in terms of your soft skills and how you go about navigating that, the better it will be for you in the long run. So think about it that way, okay? So that's it, guys. That's the video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you guys are working on your soft skills, if the hard skills is what you're lacking, let us know, all right? We'll talk soon.